Um, okay. It seems like everybody who's coming is here.
Everyone.
Okay.
So I think this is what we have for tonight, because I think Kate's probably not gonna make it.
Hey, Michelle, I can't hear you.
Oh, should I come closer? Should we bring the owl? Yeah, we could move closer.
Also, is Kate there?
No.
He's probably not gonna be here tonight.
Okay.
We can move closer.
Okay, well, the microphone wasn't on.
Oh,
So-
okay. Then I'll stay right on the side.
All right, now can you hear her because I turned the microphone on?
But it-
Yes,
Okay, all right.
better.
I told you to show muted, okay.
Yeah,
Alright, so yeah, it's just us tonight. Kate will probably not be coming. So. The first thing on the agenda was the meeting minutes for November.
I have one correction, or no, I have one question. I don't know if you want to start, when do we bring up questions? Now? Oh, that's weird. I'm listed as inaudible.
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
I don't know what this stuff is. Okay, you can hear me. On the top of the minutes, it says approved, and then all the people who said yes. And the sentence, Elizabeth Murphy, because they were not present, there's something missing. Abstained?
Abstained.
Yeah, it should say abstained. What's the word there? Also, I have that, Kate wasn't at the last meeting either, but that doesn't seem right.
It looks like the owl is muted. I have this mute symbol on top of those of you at town hall.
Yeah, I did too.
I'll text, see if I can reach anyone.
I think it should
No.
be better now.
okay, is it fine?
Yeah,
Okay,
Hear you.
You guys have, in town hall may have been talking for the last 5 minutes, and we may not have heard what you said. We're not sure because you were muted.
Well, just that Kate wouldn't be here tonight. Family illness, so it's just us.
and did you hear the one correction that I brought up?
Yeah, oh yeah, and so I don't know if you heard me, but I said, I knew what Mel meant, but I think it's just changed from this to June meeting, that would clarify that. Does that make
Okay.
sense? I think Mel heard me, so.
Sorry, I can't hear you. What was,
Yeah, so I just said if you put June for this, that should work.
June for what?
For the meeting I was not present at.
In that first sentence,
Oh, yeah, because they were not present at this meeting.
right?
So you want me to
Okay.
put June meeting?
Put June meeting, because Elizabeth wasn't,
Because I wasn't
a
a
trustee
trustee yet.
yet, yeah.
That would be in addition to some other word. There's still a word missing. We were
I put
suggesting
abstained.
abstain.
Elizabeth
Okay,
Murphy abstained because they were not present at the June 12th meeting.
excellent.
But I also don't have that Kate was there at this meeting. Is that right?
Yes, there was a death in the family last time, so in
Oh.
November, and then December we canceled because of illness.
Okay.
Okay, anything else about the minutes?
The only thing that I had a question about was we actually had said during the meeting that the next meeting was in December. But since that didn't happen, I changed it to January 8th, but I'm wondering if I should have done that or not, if I should have kept it as,
Oh, I
Next
think we should put it in December, and then, we can just say at the beginning of these minutes that it was canceled due to illness.
okay.
Turns out 3 trustees were ill.
I don't remember,
Was that the 8th, I think?
does anyone remember what date it was supposed to be?
We're gonna look. Oh, it would have been 11th, maybe?
I think it was later. I
It
think
would have been,
December
no, it would have
21st.
been the 11th.
18th. I have the 18th.
Okay, got
It
it.
was the 11th. It was the 18th. It was
Oh, okay.
late.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I was sick then.
All right, I just changed it back to the 18th.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Any other comments, or did someone want to make a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
I move we accept the minutes as amended. This is Brad.
Okay, anybody want a second?
Second it.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote. Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Brad?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
And Michelle? Aye. Okay. they're
Did you
accepted.
hear that Elizabeth said yes? Yes, okay, all right, because I barely heard. Maybe she picked it up with that. Okay, all right.
All right, and so then we have a plethora of things, including the annual report, the building committee, the Friends report, and all of the items underneath there, which I guess can be absorbed into mostly the
Okay.
director's report.
Right, okay.
Go ahead, Marianne.
Alrighty, so let's see, director's report. Freddie, Carlson Belanger, and Jessica, Freddie is spelled Freddie, are coming to the library once a month, on the second Wednesday for, 3 opportunities for Shutesbury residents to read or visit with Freddie, who is a certified therapy dog. He came last month for the first visit, and he's coming again this Wednesday.
Is this,
And-
this the younger dog?
This is Freddie, he's about a year and a half.
Yeah, okay, I couldn't
yes,
remember the other dog's
yeah.
name. I didn't think.
And, so Freddie also goes to Shutesbury Elementary School 1 day a week. It's nice because it sort of creates a little bit of bridge between the elementary school and the library. And people just love seeing Freddie at the library. We've added an induction cooktop to the collection. So an induction cooktop is a device that has enough room for 1 pan on it, 1 burner. And it uses magnets to heat things up somehow. I know it doesn't make sense, but I think it actually works. And it went out today, and so this is, an induction cooktop uses far less electricity than an electric stove, and it doesn't use any gas, because it's not a gas or propane stove. So it's better for the environment. And a Shutesbury family donated it to the library, along with a couple of, pans. The pans have to work with magnets, so the pans have to be magnetic. Not all cookware is magnetic. And it went out today for the first time, not because and so this is an opportunity for people to try an induction cooktop, and you can get a whole stove that's an induction cooktop. So that they can see what it's like to cook using an induction cooktop and see if they want to take that step to reduce their own carbon footprint. And that's really great. And I love being able to offer it to people. It went out for the first time today because somebody's stove broke, and it's going to be a week or more before their new stove can be delivered. So it's serving a purpose that we didn't even intend, you know.
That's very cool.
We saved somebody, you
Yeah.
know, from having to eat, I don't know what, you know, whatever they can heat up in their air fryer. And then we've added 4 new Storytime backpacks. So I don't know, a year or a year and a half ago, we made these Storytime backpacks, which are tote bags that have 5 picture books and all on the same theme, and then a toy on the theme, so families can sort of create a story time at home and have this interactive thing. And they sat there for a few months, and I was like, oh, that was a lot of effort, and but now they're always out. So we added 4 new ones, and the new ones are alphabet, sea creatures, woodland creatures and monsters and so now we have a total of 9 storytime backpacks and all but 2 are out today. So, and they're great for grandparents. So, you know, if grandparents have their grandchildren visiting, they can come to the library and get one of those and have, you know, like entertainment in a bag. So it
Yeah,
makes it
cool.
easy for them. So that's
Great.
fun. So that's my director's report.
Okay.
So, so what's next?
Does anybody have any questions about the annual report that Mary Ann sent? Wasn't it cool that it said 135th annual report? I thought it was great. Okay, I guess no questions.
I thought it looked great. I appreciated, because it's interesting thinking about how things were in the past. I appreciated all the regular data below. And then the commentary about all the stuff, the other stuff we've been doing this year. So thank you.
Did everybody, so in the second draft that I sent out, I included the little farewell to Savannah,
Yes,
and everybody was okay with that?
absolutely.
Okay, all right, okay, good.
Okay, sounds like we go on to your next thing then.
Well, so do you want to approve the annual
Oh,
report?
that's true, we
Yeah,
should do that.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Would someone like to make a motion to accept the annual report?
I so move. Brad?
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so let's do a roll call. Tim?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Brad?
Aye.
So I and Elizabeth. Okay, good, we've accepted it.
Thanks. I'll send that off to the admin secretary tomorrow.
Great.
I'll make those. There were a couple of spelling errors that Elizabeth and Michelle found, and I'll fix those before I send it.
All right, who wants to do the building committee report? Brad and Mary Ann, or both of you?
I can't do it alone because I never remember all the details. But I'll give you my overview, and then Mary Ann, you'll have to do it. So
Okay.
we've met, I feel like we've met a lot since our last meeting. And the 2 that are in my head the most are late December and just last week. And we went through, oh, and there was a third one. We went through sort of step by step all the designs of the moment, and with a great deal of question. It was fascinating to see all the detail, wonderful detail of the design. And then we got to cost estimates, and the first cost estimate was a bit high. I would have said, this is me speaking personally, not speaking for the committee, I would have said not exorbitantly high, but still higher than we wanted. And so the last meeting, we worked on that quite a while and got it back down to, Mary Ann, I don't remember if it was the same as the last number or just similar. It might even have been a little bit lower than the last time we did this. And approved that. So from my standpoint, we've taken there's all these milestones. We just hit another milestone and are moving forward to the construction document stage when they do all the really detailed stuff that will be used for contractors bidding. The bidding expected to happen April. And then construction this late spring. So, Mary Ann, I know I went through that too fast.
All right, I'll give a little more detail.
Yeah.
So we just finished design development and sent that off for a cost estimate. The cost estimate did come in higher than we wanted. And so we had an $8.5 million budget. And it came in at like $8.9 million. The architects have done some value engineering, which means identified ways to reduce costs. So one item is 10 reclaimed granite benches and that's $25,000. That's an easy thing to say, but, we don't need granite benches. We're removing one parking space, and then that slightly shrinks the parking area and eliminates the need for a retaining wall. There's a sidewalk in a place that, that the landscape architect thought it would be nice to have a sidewalk, but we don't need the sidewalk. People still have ADA access across the parking lot. And so there's a lot of ways, and those things are big cost savings, reducing paving. Plus, they also reduce paving. And so, so with the value engineering, we've reduced the price back down to about 8.6 million. So we're still about $100,000 off budget, or that we can't account for in the money we have available. But we, we're still gonna work on value engineering, and we still have time to fundraise. So we voted to move into construction documents, which is the next phase. That'll finish around the middle of April, and then we make bid documents and then go out to bid, and then middle of April, by the middle of June, we'll be hiring a contractor. And then we can break ground at the end of June. What I just said to the Friends of the Library is, if you can, don't plan anything the last 2 weeks of June, the first 2 weeks of July, if you want to be here for the groundbreaking. I think it's more likely to happen the end of June, the beginning of July. End of June is best case scenario. Beginning of July, it might be more realistic. But we're on track, and close enough to on budget. That sound about right, Brad?
It does.
Yeah.
One addition, so we've been over budget for a while. And a long time ago, we felt that this was an amount that we could make work. And it's still the way we feel. And the reason is, of that, what did you say, 1 million over budget? Most of that is covered by the Board of Library Commissioners with the grant. And our portion, the Friends of the Library have raised a huge amount to cover what we have to do. We have the money from that we're hoping to get. That would be the transfer from the trust, and there are various other things. But I didn't want to leave the idea that we, the town of Shutesbury, were trying to somehow make up $1 million. We're not. It's much more workable, and we've already made a huge amount of progress towards that.
So the grant amount will be about $5.9 million. And then the town will need to come up with either 2.8 or $2.9 million. And of that, we're just like $120,000 shy. And we've instructed the architects to do some more value engineering. And the Friends of the Library will continue their efforts, and the fundraising can continue even once we've started construction.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great to see that,
Yeah.
that, you sent out about reaching 520,000. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
it is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
So,
Yeah, it is.
Okay, anybody have any other questions about anything, about building, rebuilding?
I have a question. Last time there was the perk test wasn't optimal, and there was like another test that was going to be done. And how did that go?
So the location where they found a good perk test is adjacent to Leverett Road. You know how there's that circle drive? So on the side of the circle, further west. So right where we sort of have pictured the library driveway going. And that's where we have a good perk test, but it's still gonna have to be a raised system. We did more perk testing on sort of at the other end of the field in the tree line, which would have been the south end of the building. And we did not get a perk back there. So, we spent time and money, doing perk tests back there. The highway department dug 5 deep 10-foot holes, and then they dig these smaller holes beside them. None of the holes had standing water, but they all had seeping water, so we didn't get a perk. So there we were looking at one hole of, dirt and rocks after another. So we have no choice but to put the leach field, up basically in that driveway. And then we have to change the location of the driveway, and that meant they had to change the location of the stormwater management, so there was gonna be one big stormwater management storm pit there, and now there are gonna be 3 smaller ones kind of spread around the site. So that's how that
Good question though, that was
worked,
great.
yeah.
So do you have any idea how much, what funds were raised for all of those things that happened recently? Like, you mentioned the Giving Tuesday and, the other day,
Right,
and so.
so Giving Tuesday was about $53,000.
Uh-huh.
The Road Town Turkey Trot was about $15,000.
Cool.
So that was sort of and then the Soups and Stews dinner was just shy of $1,000.
Cool.
The tag sale
Oh, yeah, I
that
forgot
the
about
Friends of the Library had in October was $1,100.
Uh-huh.
So bottles and cans bring in more than $3,000 a year.
Wow.
And that really is mostly Dave Mosier doing that work. Every once in a while, if Dave's away, Tim will pick up the cans, or Eric Starker will pick up the cans. But Dave, it's the whole hobby he's created. And it's not insignificant, you
Yeah, that's a
know?
lot of
It's,
money. That's amazing.
it's a lot, and it used to be that before the pandemic, that would bring in about $500 a year. But since the pandemic, people don't want to, return their bottles and cans anymore. And so there are people from Pelham, Amherst, Leverett, and Wendell who bring us their cans.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it is really nice. So it's kind of something, if you're at a little cocktail party in Pelham, you should mention it, or, because wouldn't it just be amazing if, like, this year it could be $4,000, so anyway, people are doing a lot of drinking for the library, and that's, that's great. And then there are things, last year with the Florence Bank Customer's Choice Community Grants, it started out, those grants would be around $1,000, and then they got up to $2,000, and then last year when you went, it was $4,000.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah,
That's really.
and we'll see what that is this year. You just never know until you get there.
Right.
But we're hoping that we got the word out and that,
Just wanted to know, Leslie's still upstairs,
okay,
so when you leave, don't set the alarm.
okay, all right,
And the police are still on duty.
okay, great, thanks,
I
okay,
think he's still not.
okay, great, thank you.
Good
All
night.
right, good night. So there are all these different ways that people contribute, and it all adds up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the Friends, do you or Tim have a report from the Friends meeting at all, or is there?
Do you want to say anything about the Friends
The
meeting,
Friends?
Tim?
It's hard to hear you. I think you were asking about the Friends.
Friends, yes.
Yeah, I have not heard anything about Friends meetings since before the turkey trot thing, but they got a notice today or yesterday, and there was a quick meeting tonight. And the purpose of that meeting was to approve using the fundraising platform of Network for Good for the coming year. The first year we used it, people were apparently very happy with it, and it was free. The second year, it will be $2,400. The purpose of it is it keeps all the donor data in one place. It serves as a way to track it. You can track donations in real time, and it's a communication platform. So it really gives the Friends the ability to basically function in the same way you might see something like Act Blue function on a national basis. They can send out emails every week, know exactly what's happening with those emails, in real time, see the donations. So they had that meeting tonight, and they approved it for one more year with reevaluation next January.
That makes sense. That's great.
Marianne, how much did you say we raised through Giving Tuesday?
$53,000.
53. Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't it? Incredible. Very generous community.
Yes.
Okay, some of the things we've already talked about on here. When do it and how do we need to discuss about a new library name? Like, the idea?
I mean, so on, the design documents, they call it the Shutesbury Public Library.
Yeah.
And we could just let it, so it's not gonna be the MN Spear Library, although as long as they let us move the trust fund, I think we should name a significant area in honor of Myrick Spear.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe like the lobby or, something, or, just something.
Have a plaque or something.
Yeah, yeah, and it could just be, so like the Wendell Library is the Wendell Free Library.
Mhm.
And there are lots of places where it's the town name public library.
Right.
There are some places where it's the town name community library.
Mhm.
And so, and then it could just be the Shutesbury Library. And so it just seemed like something that there should be a conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And see if anybody had strong feelings one way or another about what the library should be named.
Maybe we want to make just postpone a little bit. We can be sure that Kate will be here too. But
Right.
Yeah, I never thought about some of the options you just mentioned. I just figured Shutesbury Public Library, but
Right.
community library,
Right.
library.
Right,
Yeah, any of those are
and like
possibilities, yeah.
Shutesbury Public Library could be just fine, and the architect had
Yeah.
been calling it that,
Yeah.
and that could be just fine, but it just seemed like that maybe it could be a conversation, and,
Yeah, it seems like we should at some point, yeah.
right, yes, yeah,
Now I know we were gonna write thank you notes to the volunteers and Kate has some thank you notes, so maybe since I live across the street from her, I should just offer to help out, but can you give us a list of people? And
yeah, can I do that after my vacation?
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
since I have so many
Absolutely,
meetings this
yeah.
week,
But
okay,
I just thought
all
it'd
right,
be easier to get
Yeah.
the names from you, so
Okay.
we don't miss anyone, but yeah,
Right.
it's not like a big
Okay.
rush, but.
all right, okay,
People always
Yeah.
appreciate getting a thank you,
They do.
right?
yes, they do, yes, good.
I mean, that's all we had on our agenda, unless there's something else that someone else can think of. Okay, then we should pick our next meeting date. And a lot of this, I think a lot of our meeting next month will be similar. Oh, can you mention the Conservation Commission? I did put here on, did everyone see Elaine Palaio's email about the Conservation Commission meeting? It's Thursday at 7 p.m. The Library Building Committee notice of intent is gonna be presented. I don't don't know what that means, but,
So the notice of intent, so the library building, with quite a bit of the library and its grounds will be in the wetland buffer zone. They're just, when we did the first schematic design, they really tried to have the building be outside the buffer zone as much as possible. And that meant having it be, 350 feet start, 350 feet away from the road and go into the wood line. And one of the cost saving measures that we've used is to move the library about 120 feet closer to the road. And so which really puts the building in the buffer zone. And so the notice of intent is, it's the notice to the Conservation Commission and we need them to permit it. And so when you file a notice of intent with the Conservation Commission to alter a wetland, then they have a hearing. And so Thursday night, the hearing will open. It's likely that the hearing might take more than one meeting. And so they look at all of your reasons for building in the buffer zone, or we're not building in the wetland, we're building in the buffer zone. And then you have to design things to mitigate the disturbance to the buffer zone. And they look at all of that and they ask questions, they might have conditions or make suggestions. And then they permit it and they have an order of conditions that have to be met. And so some of those are, so those screens that you'll see on wetland site or the straw wattle, things to protect the environment. And then if trees are removed or bushes are removed, they want them to be replaced. So it's all of that. And and so those documents are all on the Conservation Commission's website, and our wetland scientists and our architects will be there and we'll discuss it. So that's Thursday night. So, and it would just be nice to have library supporters there.
right,
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
that's what Elaine emailed. Did you all see Elaine's email today?
I
Did you
didn't,
see Elaine? Oh, you didn't?
I didn't.
I already knew of the meeting, but I don't
Kind of
remember.
like late afternoon.
Oh, I might have missed it. Was a very busy
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's why I put it on here, just in case you didn't know about it, look for it. Anything else? Okay, then why don't we pick our next meeting? President's Day is a holiday on the 19th. Does anybody have any conflicts that you know about on a Monday?
What
You know,
day?
I'll be away the first part of the first week of February, so I can't do the 5th.
I could do the 12th.
Okay, anybody else? All for
That
No
works for me.
Works for me too.
it? Okay, wow. Let's do it then. Anything else, or we can adjourn the meeting? We're all set. All set, okay, good night.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Nice to see you.
Night.
Night.
Okay, adjourning the meeting.
Okay, good night, everybody.